Obsessed podcast. We'll be sitting down with a fresh guest each week. Someone who shares the same kayak fishing passion that runs through our veins. We're talking kayak anglers, kayak companies, lure experts. Heck, anyone who's got a story to tell about landing the big ones from a kayak. We're setting our sights on becoming the #1 kayak fishing podcast in the world. You'll get a chuckle, a grin, and hey, maybe even a belly laugh. Because we believe in the power of humor. But above all, we're here to educate and inspire. So, whether you're a seasoned kayak angler or just dipping your toes into this exhilarating world, join us on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. It's time to reel in adventure, camaraderie, and the joy of the catch. Here's your host, Darren Windle.
Hey, you fish freaks. Welcome to episode number 98 of the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast, your ultimate source for all things kayak fishing. And this episode of the KFO show is brought to you by Dark Horse Tackle, delivering premium small batch baits from American small businesses right to your door. Check out and discover the best baits you've never heard of at darkhorsetackle.com. Seth, I just got their box in the mail this past week, and they have this sick looking balsa bait. Look at that juicy juice.
Cool.
Got the computer chip bill. And who's this by? This is from Black Label Balsa, woodbaitcountry.com. You can get these at darkhorsetackle.com. These things are sweet. Look forward to tying this on. I'll be fishing Thursday and Friday of this week. But man, we took last week off because I was down in Bama.
That's right. How'd that go?
You know, it was good. I was running and gunning with Chad Hoover and Austin Hoover, and I was like a kid in a candy store, right? I don't get too often to fish and, bodies of water where literally it's more likely that I could probably catch my personal best. So I was going for the 23-incher. I was going for the 7-pound 1-ouncer. And to be completely honest with you, we went out night fishing one night, and the entire night, right? We just missed a night of sleep. And Chad and I out there, and I had my chance at an 8. I know it was an 8. It was dark, but that thing was crazy. So it spit my baby jack.
I've never bass fished at night besides on like Lake Conroe from the boat dock. But
yeah, do
you use like a flashlight? Did you feel like you got more bites at night? Less bites at night? What do you?
It was awesome. One, no one's on the water, and two, maybe even more bites. I don't know. I don't fish this body of water enough to really have a baseline, but we were picking up fish and a lot of them. You see something that vibrates, of course, bladed jig. I was either throwing the new baby jackhammer, which are expensive but freaking killer, deadly, and I was doing the full size jackhammer, which was also just picking them up. And so you got the moonlight and stuff like that. But man, I've never gone a full night of night fishing before, and so that was a blast. Yeah, we took last week off, but we're coming back strong tonight because we have Keith. Keith, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
What's up, guys? How's it going? I'm great.
No, it's going good. Look forward to talking about the Kayak Angler YakOff Championship, which is this week, the final showdown. And so figured since we are the KFO show, we should probably get around to talking about kayaks from time to time. We went for a long period of time, Seth, where we just talked a lot about like lures. And so it makes me feel good too.
But the lures were used from kayaks, so there's some connection there.
True. Keith, where are you sitting right now? Because it looks beautiful and it's sunny outside and it's dark here. So
it's I'm in Revelstoke, British Columbia, Canada.
Nice.
I am on the banks of the Columbia River. This is like my backyard shed pub. This is not the pub side. This is like where I keep boats and stuff. The other side is like a tiki bar where we watch sports with my friends.
That's like dream living right there. My gosh, you got your kayak shop and a bar on the other side.
I could take you for a walkthrough if you want to see it quick.
Oh my gosh. Well, it'd be fantastic for us looking, but for those going to be listening in, which is the majority of our listeners. Thank you for wasting.
Okay. We won't do that now. I'll send some pictures after.
He is a long way from where I'm at. A long way.
You guys couldn't be any further away, just about.
Yeah. You're Florida, right? So
yeah, like South Florida. Yeah.
We're like full on
Opposites.
ends of,
That's
yeah,
right.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm the Caribbean of the Midwest, which everybody knows. So
Caribbean of the
yeah.
Midwest. That's one way
Are you
to
getting
say it.
Caribbean? Are you getting Caribbean type weather right now?
Yeah, it's like rain the last 3 days, and so which is good because I got back from that week down in Alabama, and I have like 40 hours of footage to edit. So I've literally been at my computer the last 48 hours, just cranking on shorts, cranking on videos, which I'm getting ready to do something a little bit different, Seth. Something I haven't done before. I was inspired as I went fishing with Creek Fishing Adventures, and I was down there with Dave Erkey and also Rudd, and he's having had a lot of luck with like uncut longer videos. So I was like, all right, I'll try the uncut thing. So I got a 4.5 hour uncut video coming out here next week. For those who are like, hey, you know what? I just want to play something while I work on the kayak for the next couple hours. It's going to be there. And kind of, I try to do as much talking as you possibly can in a 4.5 hour video, but man, I'm not there yet. But at least you can see and hear what's going through my brain as I'm fishing.
Yeah.
So
well, I might do that too. Mine might be 8 hours, but I mean, if it's uncut, there's no bathroom breaks, or there are bathroom breaks, but you have to be like,
okay, one cut video.
One cut video. One cut video.
No, it's good. My first cut was where was I? What was I doing with that one? It was just out with Chad, and the other one was actually doing 2 of them when I was out. We did like a mini tournament with Creek Fishing Adventures and Dave Erkey, and it was like most fish, biggest fish, and first fish, and so that was kind of fun. I guess you have to wait and see who won. Nonetheless, we're getting off track. We are rabbit trailing here. But
hold
Keith,
on here. So I have a question first.
Oh, hit me.
So you were down with Chad last week. I just got off the phone with Chad about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
What was with that slip on the launch?
Oh,
that was pretty funny.
The slip heard around the world. Literally and figuratively. That thing has like 500,000 views.
I know, it's crazy.
And everyone's like, one of my favorite comments is like, why is this video 10 minutes long? We were like watching it over and over again and over again.
It was like
boom. Chad cracked himself really good. So if you haven't seen this, what happened is that what's crazy is I actually got the shot. So he's backing his trailer down, and he has this new kayak trailer that has rollers on it, which makes the kayak come off real easy. And so I wasn't prepared for that. And my kayak, I pushed start on my, Yak Attack boomstick. And so I'm rolling. My kayak goes off the trailer and I miss it. And it's just floating out there. Meanwhile, Chad's like, hey, be careful. Because I went to kind of get down in the water to get it. It's slippery. And a few seconds later, he just, like the cartoons. His hands are up in the air.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
And right after he said, hey, careful, that's really slippery. And he, for whatever reason, my GoPro, which is probably 20, 30 yards away, picks up this audio like it's right there. And my gosh, this thing took off. So much so that a company called Viral Hog reached out to me and licensed, they licensed the video. And so if you see this thing on like ridiculousness moving forward, this is the origin. Now, Viral Hog, it's interesting how these companies work. They tell you like, hey, if someone uses that and now that's licensed to us, they have a team that'll like go after you. So pretty wild and crazy. But yeah, that's what happened. Cool. So Chad fished the entire day with me, and he was like, it didn't hurt the next day, but it hurt the next day. And so he's been recovering.
One of the things he told me was crazy, that he felt like he got a little bit of whiplash because, like our PFDs that have the big lump on the back so we can fish comfortably in our kayaks.
Right.
When it hit, his head was like so far up, he was like, wow.
Yeah. He said he cracked his head a little bit too on the concrete.
Yeah, he was like, it was kind of funny, but no, it's so funny.
No, it was straight up. That night, I was like, I think I got that on camera, because you don't hear this, but right after it happened, his son was rigging, further up the boat ramp, and the only thing his son said was the camera rolling? No care for his father whatsoever.
Yeah, he's like, Did we catch that?
Get it on
Yes,
camera?
we did.
Like, I think I did. It depends if my kayak was being blown by the wind, and literally there was maybe a 10 to 15 second window that I would have caught that. And so it was meant to be, is what I'm trying to say. But man, that night I laughed until I cried because I was like, I checking my GoPro and we put it up on the TV, and it was just fun to laugh at Chad. It was a good time.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
That was good.
I am not paying attention to any of the comments that are flying in here. You paying attention to any of these? I don't know.
Yeah.
Over here. Anything good, or can we move on?
We can keep rolling.
Whew, all right. So Keith, we're having on tonight because. So what?
I was just going to say quickly, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a Winnipeg Jets jersey, is because I'm a hockey fan. I grew up in Winnipeg. And my Jets are playing pretty soon here against the Dallas Stars. And about 2 months ago, Darren and I talked about getting on this podcast. I never thought it would be this night. Otherwise, it would have totally canceled.
And you got back to back as well.
And I got back to back. Yeah, I'm on with Marty Hughes after this. So.
Oh my gosh!
But it's all good. It's all good.
You're a popular guy tonight. All right, well, let's transition a little bit because I had you on, Keith, because I believe, if I got my story correct, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you were the originator, at least had the idea to do the Kayak Angler YakOff Championship NCAA bracket style deal. And so I wanted to get you on here. Well, I wanted to talk. I got a lot of questions about it. One, I'm a little hurt and upset that I wasn't asked to be a part of it. So I want to get that out there. Just kidding. I'm really not. But I am curious to like the origin of all that. So what inspired you to create the YakOff Awards and kind of share with everybody kind of your role with Rapid Media?
So Rapid Media is a bunch of different brands, Paddling Magazine, Kayak Angler Magazine. I am the kayak fishing guy in Rapid Media, and a little while ago, I was like, man, there's so many cool things going on with people and their builds and so many different builds. Everyone does like let's have a bracket tournament about the biggest fish and this fish and this fish.
Right.
But nobody does anything about their builds. And we work with every single brand in the industry as a media company.
Right.
And it was just like, this is a really cool opportunity to let's bring the brands in, let's bring anglers in, and let's get them to explain what they've done, what they've used, why they've done it, how they've done it, why they did it, where people can follow along and buy that stuff to build their own, take a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one, and build their own. And it's gone really, 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 really well, way better than I ever expected.
Oh, wow.
People have been loving it. It's been pretty cool.
So essentially you're taking a lot of really, maybe I'm wrong here, but it sounds like all that stuff was already out on YouTube. You just kind of created a centralized place to bring it all together, and probably brought some people out of the woodwork who maybe would have never done that type of video. Potentially, I don't know. You tell me.
What I would say is that we basically, I saw all of these videos of people that are showing how they created their kayaks to be their own. So I was like, why don't we pit them up against each other and let's have a tournament and let the audience view and vote and see who can move forward and decide on who made the best ones, not necessarily because it's the most expensive or the craziest, but like what people could bring in to their own builds and how they could use that to make their own day on the water better for themselves.
Yeah. Do you find that is it just the purchasing of new gear? Is it simply how they might utilize a piece of equipment or accessory that hasn't been utilized? Is there any like DIY winners in here, or is it kind of overtaken by a lot of the brands?
I would say the coolest part about the entire competition is our two finalists right now are Chad Davison from has an Old Town, and then
Suvak.
is and Suvak, but I was going to get to that after. But
sorry.
But part of his build was people commented so much on things like his lure retriever or like the DIY stuff that he did that the average person doesn't have to spend a ton of money on,
right?
But can like do these things to their kayaks and figure that out, right? Then we got Jake Suvak, who is Vibe or has a Vibe Shearwater 125, and he has done so many cool things with his too. And it's just been like a way to like show how everyone can do so many different cool things and take a little bit of like Darren's or Seth's or Keith's or whoever's kayak and put them into use on their own, which would be the best thing to make their kayak be most kind of proficient and the best thing they can do on the water with themselves.
Yeah. What has been one of the most unique DIY features that you've seen along the way?
I'll tell you two answers here.
Okay.
So the number one most unique that we've got most comments about was Chad Davison's lure retriever that he put into his kayak and spooled all the line up and stuff and had this like little tiny wire lure retriever.
Okay.
That was on like a tether that he put through down there.
Yeah, because that's the problem with lure retrievers. Because a lot of times you throw it down there, if it doesn't get it out, well, now you got two things stuck.
Exactly. But that was one of the things we got the most comments on, 100%. The other one would have been Aaron Miller's kayak crate, which no one had ever seen before, which is not your normal black pack, but it's like a big crate. And then the backside, it has this like 6 rod holder that was standing up straight like a black pack, but it spanned out for redfish fishing. So he could troll with that. So the coolest part is when you go into the YakOffs and you see all this stuff, you can see every angler's every like product on their boat, and then you can see where to buy it from. But you could see exactly how they used it, what they did, why they did it. Like that was the coolest part of it.
Well, why
and the
not?
Folks, they vote on that on a weekly basis. Is that how that works?
Yeah. So every week it's voted from Monday morning to Sunday night, and we've gone through this whole bracket, and now we are left right now with Jake Suvak against Chad Davison. And one of my favorite parts about it is that we are not left. So Jake Suvak knocked off Chad Hoover. Chad Davison knocked off the Fluke Master, Gene.
Yeah, these guys are like powerhouses. Yeah, that's gonna.
So the cool part is that instead of just having people think that, oh, this is just because they have a big following. No, it's because people are actually following along and voting on the coolest rig, not just the social followings, if you know what I mean.
Right.
I mean,
like if Darren had a boat in there, be like, oh yeah, he wins because he's got hundreds of thousands of followers.
Tens of followers would just flood and vote 25 times over. All right, so here we go. Started off, and for those of you listening in, that's why I'm going to say some of these out loud. Real quick, where did you come up with these individuals? Like, what criteria was used to evaluate and advance participants in this competition?
Darren's doing his homework right now, by the way.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's okay. And
everybody's doing their homework. Hey, this is kind of fun. I want to be part of this next year.
So first of all, there's another one coming up in September, so keep your eyes open for that. But actually, I just threw it out there to different brands because with Kayak Angler, I work with all the brands. And they threw it out to their pro staff, and I literally had 76, I think, or 87, something like that. People that submitted their photos and videos, all that kind of stuff, to be selected. And there were so many, so I actually put a bunch of names in a hat. Pulled them out.
You just pulled them out of a hat.
And I was like, we need 16, so this is the 16 we picked, and which is the cool part, because there's a lot of big names like Chad Hoover and Drew Gregory and Marty Hughes and Gene Jensen, big names, but there's also some names of people that no one knows. And that was kind of the point, to show that it's just a competition for everybody. And proof in the pudding, two of the guys in the championship right now are two of the guys that didn't have the biggest followings.
Yeah. So, no, that's wild. And now it makes sense why I never heard it. I was like, why didn't I hear about this until after it was going? Well, I'm not on any pro staff, so that kind of knocked me out. And even if I was, I might have been pulled out of the hat. But this is
yeah, and the cool part about this is we're doing another one this year and in September. And because I think I've got 110 people already applied for this one in September for another out of 16. So we have plans on going to kids only, kayaks under $5,000, like different levels of all that, men against women, pros against schmoes, different things like that. We're gonna do this stuff all the time. Weekend warriors against pro anglers, kind of stuff like that. So we do a lot of surveys at Kayak Angler to see what our audience really likes to watch and see.
Right.
And most of our audience, 90% of our audience, is not sponsored by anybody. So it's cool to be able to show them that. So we're going to be doing these in multiple times to bring other people in, and also have the same actually high-end kind of prizes and awards for them.
Yeah, we'll get to the prizes and the voting here in just a moment. So in round one, you had Drew Gregory, Chad Davidson. Chad won, obviously. Seth Yates, we had him on the show. Won by a small margin, and then got beat out by Chad. AJ, anything on here that you were like, oh, wow, that was surprising? Because this is your first year, right? You're probably thinking, oh, I think I know how this is going to go, but I really don't know how this is going to go. Because if I saw this and saw Gene Jensen, I would have lost money that Gene would not 100%. Be in the top two. And then if I saw Chad on there, I would have been like, okay, Gene versus Chad is going to be the championship.
Yeah, or like when Austin Hoover had his Bonafide 129 in there, and then he redid to the PWR. It was like, he's like, can I do this for my second round? I'm like, no, you have to use your same boat. You can't change up a boat halfway through the tournament. So, yeah, there was a lot of surprises, which was cool. Like to see that, like I said before, it wasn't just the social following and that, it was people were actually voting on who they thought had the coolest rig, not just the most expensive, tricked out rig.
All right, I got a question. So if I'm company, right, and based off of how you told me this is all set up, if I'm company A and I'm Vibe or I'm whatever it is, and my pro staff is on here, I would imagine some companies got involved. Did that happen anywhere along the way? Using their reach and their list and their social media to push their person, which by default is their kayak?
Yeah, so I will answer that 100%. So one of the big things in order for us to put this on, we needed sponsors, right?
Sure.
So I went out for sponsors, and we had Vibe and Hoodoo Kayaks and
we got to talk about Angel. That, by the way. We'll get there
we will in a sec. So we had Vibe Kayaks and Hoodoo, Guardian Angel, Newport Motors, Malone Auto Racks, which is a wicked trailer company. They've
got one in my garage. Got to put that thing together. This week.
You have a Malone?
I got an Eco Light. It's sitting in a bunch of boxes, and I'm going to do a nice
video.
I've got one of their Magnum ones in my carport that holds 6 kayaks. And
oh wow, yeah, you mess around.
It's insanely big. And so we had all these different people that were involved, and I mean, they believed in the idea. So they were our sponsors. So once again, the way we did it was imagine like a NCAA bracket. So there's like a north, south, east, west. So we had Malone Auto Racks, Vibe Kayaks, Hoodoo Kayaks, and I'm blanking on the next one.
They're
And
gonna
then
be upset
Guardian
with me.
Angel. Yeah, I know, totally.
The last year they were sponsors when
Yeah,
Keith
no,
got their name.
and then we had and then we had Guardian Angel lighting, and then
Yep.
D Hooker,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah,
is the D
got one of
Hooker
those.
tool. They were our presenting sponsor, and they've been doing the entire thing. So the way it moved forward was once brands saw their kayak kind of going through, like Old Town or Bonafide or whoever it was, they started putting in more effort and trying to push that forward.
Heck yeah, they did. It's their businesses. They're not idiots.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would do the same thing. I'm not trying to press you on this.
So like Jake Subak's like Vibe has been insane in pushing them forward, doing like dedicated emails. Vote for Jake. Vote for Jake. This is this, right?
Jeez,
So it's been super cool. We have so many more people or brands, I guess, involved in the next one, and it's gone.
I feel like I missed the next one based off of what you said, Keith. How did I miss the second one?
The second one is still up for grabs.
So. Oh, it is.
You gotta have a cool kayak, Darren. That's the problem.
I got a Sun Dolphin Aruba 10 with one. Is there a minimalist category? Because I'm taking that home.
Rigged out.
I'm taking it home.
You have to apply, and that's it.
Where's that at? Is that on Kayak Angler?
KayakAnglerMag.com/YakOff.
All right.
I would not make it. My build is boring. Boring. Trolling motor, power pole, and the 12-inch graph. And we're done.
But there's people that resonate with that, right? And that's what they want. Like Drew Gregory was in this with us, and he was unfortunately against Chad Davison, who is in the finals.
Right.
But Drew said the same thing. He's like, man, I'm not going to go anywhere in this because I'm a very minimalist, but there's a lot of people out there that like that. So it's not about who wins. It's not about who loses. It's about getting people to see what you can do to your own rig and what you can do to it.
I'm pretty sure Drew just put 2 power poles, the like actual power poles, on his kayak this past year, didn't he?
Oh, the Talons?
The Talons.
Yeah, he put Talons on there.
Yeah. Not like the micro.
I don't know if he's actually using them. I think he might have did it for. I have no clue, really. I don't know. I was at his house a couple weeks ago. I did not see 2 Talons sticking off the back of his kayaks. Let's put it that way.
Might change it up.
All right, I'm gonna go apply. What would happen if I submitted my Sun Dolphin Aruba 10 with 1 rod holder, making it technically a fishing kayak? Think I'd go far with the minimalist out there, Keith?
It would depend when I pulled names out of a hat.
All right, thinking about it. Let me know. Would you vote for me? Vote for my Sun Dolphin. All right. How do and I think Seth was kind of getting this a little bit. How do audience votes factor into the progression of the tournaments? Because obviously when I did it, there was like 1,000,001 ways to vote. And it wasn't like, hey, you get 1 vote a day. You can get up to like a lot. And so walk us through, because if you watch videos, you could vote. If you like Facebook pages, you can vote. You can, how often can you do
That's a super easy answer. So we'll back up the page there.
Oh yeah, let's go back here.
Have you voted today?
Not today.
Okay, so then that's perfect. So we can go through it.
All right.
So you can vote. You can vote every day. So if you scroll down,
Jake or Chad, which one, Seth? Who should I vote on?
No, not there. That's not going to matter. Okay. You got to go to the voting.
Oh,
so there.
No VPNs,
go to vote now.
No VPNs.
Right. So you can choose right now who you want to vote for.
Okay.
Right. So you can vote for the angler every day of the week.
Got it. So what's it say? Jake right now.
So if you pick Jake, enter
there. There's my emails, everybody. So you know, I don't care. Everyone knows it anyways. Wendell Fishing.
What's your social?
And hit enter.
All right. I'm enter.
Okay, then there's your confetti.
All right.
This stuff you can only do once a week because our sponsors change and everything changes, right? So it's like go watch this for Guardian Angel and like them on Facebook, and you get these bonus entries. But you can after you do that once a week, you can only vote for the boat that you like the best or the angler every day for that week.
But right here,
this is just a way to
75 votes a week just if you went through and watched all this stuff.
Yeah, if you do, but everybody else can do that too, right? So it's getting our sponsors and everybody else. I mean, even if it was 7.5, it's not going to make a difference because it's the same for everybody. So it's a way to get likes to the anglers, likes to the brands, likes to all that. But you can only put a vote in for the boat that you pick or the angler that you pick once a day.
Okay. No, it's brilliant to be able to like set this up is brilliant. A heavy lift to get this website. I was like, you guys did this out of the gate. I was impressed.
I will say this first of all, nothing to do with me. I had the idea. We have an amazing tech team and design team that did all this stuff. So yeah, that was all them. But if you scroll back down there, Darren,
we're gonna get
and you see. So just for going on and voting, that's why we had all these additional opportunities. So Hoodoo, Newport, Guardian Angel, and Malone have provided this fully rigged kayak that's going to be won on Sunday night, I guess Monday morning, at the end of the whole thing. And they're going to someone lucky winner is going to get all of that.
It's going to be me. Because I got like 150 votes in there.
Is it based on number of entries? Like, so can you have 1,000 entries if you voted over the course of this entire competition, or is everyone
So if you had 1,000 entries, but at one time if you logged in once and you voted once, and yours is the lucky one that gets picked, then you can win that.
So the more times you vote, the more activity you have throughout the competition, the better your odds are at winning the package.
The more options, right? It's like going to any kind of lottery, right? Like you buy more tickets, got a better chance to win, but you only have to buy one to win.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So you're saying here is that the kayak, the motor, which is NK 180 Pro, the 50 amp hour lithium, the Guardian Angel lighting kit, and the Malone cart is valued at $3,400 total, right?
Yeah.
And that's what someone's going to win on Monday morning.
Which is about 6,000 Canadian where I live.
Woo! That's gonna be juicy. I look forward to that. Are you gonna be calling me, or are you gonna send me an email? How's that gonna work?
You have to be present.
It will depend. You're just gonna get you'll see what happens.
All right, I like it. So a couple questions around this. I always have a tendency when I hear an idea. So I used to do this in my line of work. I'm a problem caster. So you might have the best idea in the world, and the first thing I do is to kind of share how I feel like it might fall apart in the future. That's not.
So you're very positive.
I'm a realist. Actually, is where I'm at. I'm not negative, and I'm not overly positive. I'm just kind of like, okay, realistically, I know the human condition. And so I was curious, what measures are in place to really ensure fairness and engagement throughout the competition? Now it seems like your rules are pretty set forth. They were all out there. Did you run into anything you're like, oh, we had to fix that right away? I'm curious on how that all played out.
You mean competition as far as
people will find it?
You mean competition as far as who wins the prize or the voting per week?
Everything. I'm sure when you launch,
so it's not run by it's not run by us. It's run by a company called Viral Sweep.
That's their first rodeo.
Yeah. So we have no say, and we can't adjust anything, can't do anything. It's just they will tell us at the end of it who won this, who won that, who wins every week. That's all. Like that's why when you look at the bracket, it shows you the percentage of how much this angler won over that angler. It just shows you that. We didn't want to have vote numbers. Like it was 1,576 to 1,530.
Right.
But it was just the percentages that they show because that's what Viral Sweep does.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with us. We can't even legally you can't adjust anything, and there's actually no way you can go from the back end to do anything like that. So it's all 100% legit.
All right, so this is like a sweepstakes, right? And there's all kinds of weird
It's terms and conditions with the sweepstakes, one viable sweep. Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah, it's interesting. And so Basshole NH asked, so the voters win the rig at the end. That is, well, one of the voters does. Absolutely. Now, what do you win if you win like Jake or Chad? What happens if they win?
All right, so I'm going to say I've got 25 more minutes on here before I have to go on to Marty Kayak Jack's podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about who did too in a second.
And they're going to be on there too. But so the winning angler is going to have a piece and like a I guess a feature in the Kayak Angler magazine and summer edition. They're also going to win $2,500 US cash to do with whatever they want, no strings attached. They're also going to get Brandon, thank you, from Kayak Cushion. He gave us helped us. Our designers gave him the YakOff champion logo. So they're going to get a Kayak Cushion, and there's another cool prize that we just have decided on. There's going to be a full-on wrestling belt with the with the sponsors on it.
Oh, heck yeah!
That everybody's going to get. That's like Kayak Angler sponsors, blinged out gold plates, pretty sweet. Going to be presented at ICAST.
All right.
There.
Well, that's cool. I'll be there, so I'm excited to meet the winner. That'd be fun. Seth, any questions along the way here? You're probably like, "What?" I asked him if you heard of it. He's like, "Yeah, barely." And
I heard it mentioned. I didn't really know what it was. It makes a lot more sense now. Do you ever see? I know you might be going in different categories to include additional folks. You ever see yourself going to a round of 64 plus like a play-in game or anything like that? No, I'm just kidding. Do you expect to go a little bit bigger with your brackets, or you think you're going to stick at 16?
I think we'll stick at 16 because that way, like 16 already to make sure people could vote. It took like 15 weeks to run this, and there's always that piece of like you don't want to drown out your audience with too much shit, basically, right? So we're gonna do another one in the fall. If you went to 64, there'd just be too much, and why do it all? Like we could have 2 a year and run them for 3 months a pop. And then you never want to drown it. I work in media. You never want to drown out your audience and just get them bored. You want to wait them, make them wait for the next one, right?
So no playing games, Darren. No playing games. You're either 16 or not.
I know. I hear you. Well, speaking of, you named a brand in there that actually I was on the phone with today. And Keith, you brought to me this opportunity. So if you've been around the KFO show, you know that here in 2 episodes, Seth will be celebrating our 100th episode. And so Keith reached out to me. He's like, "Hey man, you planning on doing anything? Like you do any type of giveaways? I might be able to help out with that, make some connections for you." And I'm thinking to myself, I have never been the give stuff away guy. I don't know. And it's not because I'm against it, except the only thing I have against it is that I don't want to run to the post office and send out a lure to you in the middle of the week and spend an hour doing it. I have lots of things to do, and shipping and postage and packaging is not one of them. So that's probably the only reason I'm lazy when it comes to that. But I think it's a good idea to celebrate. So I had a conversation with the owner of Hoodoo today. Thank you, Keith, for setting that up. You made the intro earlier. And because of Keith.
That's through Keith and Kayak Angler.
And Kayak Angler and Hoodoo Sports. Anybody else that did I get all that right? I'm actually thankful. This is kind of cool. We are giving away a kayak. And I'm going to show you the kayak. It's a Hoodoo Element 100S. Let me get that bad boy up here on the screen. All right. Share screen. And there she is, folks. So for those of you listening in, this is going to be a sit on top. and it comes in a few different colors: purple haze, you got gray mist, marine reef, molten lava. I like the molten lava. Sea mist. Some of the specs, obviously, it's going to be a 10-foot because it's a 100S with 100
some rod
episodes,
holders on there,
right? Rod holders. You got a 60-pound weight. You got a 350-pound weight capacity, and made in the USA. They recently moved the majority of their kayaks over to be made in the USA, which is kind of cool. So I'm excited because here's another thing. I was like, hey, I don't want to don't ship this to my house. I have to turn around and ship it to whoever wins. And so they're going to ship it straight to you. And so I'm pumped about this.
That's cool.
I actually think I'm going to get my hands on one here in June, start doing some reviews of the line as well. So I'm excited about this, but thanks to everybody involved, one of you are going to be fishing out of this bad boy this summer. And so I'm going to be doing a bunch of promo around it coming up. And here in 2 weeks, what we're going to do, you have to be live to win this bad boy. And what we're going to do is, I believe, I was on Debo's fishing page, and I need to call him up and ask him how he did this. But essentially, everyone who's listening in, if they type in whatever word he says, we're going to say hoodoo, right? Then you're put into this randomizer that picks a winner. And so we'll do that toward the end of the show in a couple of weeks from now. But yeah, I'm pumped. Keith, anything to add to that? I know you've been working with Hoodoo for a while now, and Seth, sounds like you have something to say as well.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so well, you go ahead, Seth.
No, I just might get my wife to be able to watch one of these episodes now, Darren.
I love it.
She might be all in 2 weeks.
We need to do an episode where our wives are on.
Yeah.
I will say this. So Hoodoo, Chris Boular is the new owner of Hoodoo. Awesome guy. Started working with us at Kayak Angler and Paddling Magazine. Okay. I guess last October when he took over ownership from Hoodoo. And he has done so much stuff. He just donated one of these exact same kayaks to Marty Hughes Kayak Jack for his doggy paddle tournament that he just did to raise money for Hearts United in Nebraska for animal humane society kind of thing. He's now given one for you guys to give away, and these kayaks are all now made in the US, and they are poured and rotomolded in the same place that Bonafide and New Canoe, and they all do it at the same place. So this is all now made in the US. Awesome kayak, awesome guy, super, yeah, just trying to get his stuff out there, and it's an awesome opportunity for someone to get into a really cool kayak as a starter and follow along and get in there.
Yeah, I'm excited about this because for the past 16 years, I essentially read people for a living. I was a professional fundraiser, working with some of the wealthiest people on the planet, essentially asking them for money through something called moves management. And so I've become really good and in tune with reading the room and reading the person very quickly. And when you do it professionally, and some of you listening in are probably like, oh yeah, that's similar to my job, sales, whatever it may be. You get really good at it. And so when I had a conversation, it was about 30 minutes today, I was like, this guy is going to succeed. And the reason is, especially in our industry, he was asking questions where hey Darren, I would love to hear your thoughts on, we might be doing a modification on this particular kayak. Give me your thoughts on what you think would be beneficial for the kayak fishing community. And so companies that are open and to listen to customer feedback and feedback from the community typically do well and typically go far. And so I was really excited to hear that. I'm excited where Hoodoo is going. I'm excited to get my hands on them myself. I'm excited to give one of these bad boys away in 2 weeks from now. So make sure 2 weeks. I don't know. I forget who we're having on. I know we have Austin Hoover on next week. Mm-hmm. And the following week we have someone else on. Well, I know it's scheduled. I forget who it is. And we'll be giving this bad boy away. But not going to give it away if you are not on the show. This is going to be, you got to be there. You got to listen in, and it should be. Oh, and also, not only that, Dark Horse Tackle reached out to me. I didn't even reach out to them. Be like, hey, we're putting up 5 $10 gift cards. And who knows, I might be reaching out to a few other people over the next couple of weeks. We're giving away all kinds of stuff.
That's all for kinds of stuff. The 100th show. 2 weeks.
100th show. It's in 2 weeks. Yeah. Yep. Right now is episode number 89. Chad, we were talking about
Chad, but he can't win. Chad, you're out, buddy.
He could win.
We actually thought when I first talked to Darren it was next week, but then he didn't do one last week, so now it's 2 weeks away.
Yeah, because Chad and I were fishing all night long through the night.
Or falling down on boat slips.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that. We're giving away some more $100 in KBF bucks. Man.
There you go.
So who knows? I would imagine some of you listening, I might get some more things to give away. So, like I said, you gotta be live. All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I wanted to kind of finish off. I know you got a hard stop here because you got another podcast right after.
I got a few. I still got 15.
Oh yeah. Well, I wanted to. Can you share what you're doing here in a month or so? What you got going on? Is that fair game to talk about?
Well, yeah. Are you coming?
I can't. I want to. I am honored by the invite. Seth was like, "What the crap are you guys talking about?" And why wasn't I invited? Yeah.
Over here.
No, if you could talk about it, I'd love to hear because I think it's gonna be fun, and a lot of people are going, so everyone's probably going to hear about it by default through content.
There will be a lot of media stuff and content creation for sure.
100%. And I'm probably going to be pissed off that I missed it, to be completely honest with you. But it's not the stars are not aligning at the moment for me to make that happen. But since everyone's like, freaking tell us, Keith, have you walk us through what's happening and what to expect from a lot of content creators coming up.
All right, so I will tell you can pull up the website, right? So why don't I tell you that website so you can show them the flyover. So it's seautterlodgebc.com. So I was approached by this lodge last year to do a advertising campaign with them on Kayak Angler, but I was like, I mean, in good conscience, I can't really sell you an advertising campaign without knowing if kayak fishing is safe on the ocean where you are. Mostly I was just trying to talk myself into a free fishing trip.
Yeah, 100%.
So I went up there and she's like, oh, Sue's the owner. She's like, oh, would you like to bring your family up with you? And I said, I would, but I would rather bring 2 buddies with me. So I went up there to this place on the northwest coast of Vancouver Island in British Columbia. And it is, swear word, insane. It's on the Salmon Superhighway, which is like where the closest part of salmon coming to eat all 5 salmon species closest to the shoreline, so you can get right out there and what you're looking at right now I was catching coho salmon and Chinook salmon with like 7'2" bait casting rods and jigging for halibut, and that little village right there is called Kayukit.
Okay.
And it's a boat in only access or fly in. Yeah, it's insane. So next month, actually almost exactly a month from now, we're going up there on a fam tour with a few different brands. I've been bugging Darren to try to come up with me, but he has been kind of being nonchalant, as I won't swear. But
you can say anything. I'm an emotional robot. You can make fun of me.
Anyway, so also the bonus part of this, like that inside part, you can't fish there after July 15th, but we're going to be there in June. So you can catch basically a black largemouth bass, which is called a black bass or a bomber, we call them.
Okay.
10-pound bass all day long, top water on top of kelp on the ocean, and 70 around them, jig and spoons or topwater frogs or whatever on the ocean. It's insane. It's beautiful, crazy. There are 3 brands coming up there with us and about 6 different social influencers. There's 14 of us in total, and yeah, we're going there in 30 days.
Seth, why am I not doing this again? Can you ask me?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. So, what do you have going on? You got your birth of your next child?
Yeah, that's what it is.
What is it?
That's what it is. Oh my gosh.
Well, maybe Seth wants to come. I still have room for 2 more.
Oh,
Seth.
dang.
Well, there went all my chances. Everyone listening in, like, hey, I'm in 1 month. That's freaking.
That's beautiful.
They're like, screw the kayak prize. I want to go there.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Chris.
That is insane. I think everyone else is asking the question, how do I get a job like yours? To be before I go up there, I gotta make sure it's safe for all kayaks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. You gotta test it out.
Man, within 2 minutes of talking to them, I was like, I'm good. I'm going up there.
Yeah. And there's probably all kinds of places like that all over the country. It's just
man, before Kayak Angler, I've been in the fishing industry since I was 8 years old in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, packing maggots and leeches and night crawlers at the fishing hole.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been in the fishing industry my whole life. I ran Langara Island Lodge up in Haida Gwaii, which is 3 hours north of that place.
Okay.
For 4 years, and yeah, just do what you're passionate about. Follow it, enjoy it. Shit happens, and make it work out.
Yeah, make it work out. That's a good word there. So really quick, walk us through. You said you've been doing this at 8 years old. You shared a little bit about it, but walk us through the progression of how you made it to Rapid Media and what you do today. Running lodges, anything else in there exciting? I'm curious.
Oh man, so I started packing bait before I was allowed to legally work in Winnipeg in Canada, and we had to have a social insurance number. Back then you couldn't have it. Then I worked at the fishing hole stocking bait, and then stocking tackle, and then every time I had a paycheck I owed them money, because I owed more money on my store card than I made. Then I worked in Lake of the Woods. I worked in Lake of the Woods as like a gas attendant, and then some native guides up there where I worked didn't make it for work a couple days, and I went out guiding instead, and guided and did really well, and then became a guide and guided through my whole way through university.
Oh wow.
And then I worked in sales and media and just been in the fishing industry my entire life.
Yeah, sounds amazing.
Yeah, crazy. Lucky.
Yeah, I bet. Man, I looking back on my life, be like, hey, it would be awesome if I had gotten this a long time ago. But hey, gotten into it now. So, last question. All right. Well, Seth, you got anything for us before we?
You reminded me of what the movie Step Brothers, where they're like, can you imagine if we had these when we were kids? And it's like, even better, we've got them now.
Yeah, exactly. And congrats, Darren, on going full time.
Oh yeah, appreciate that. I don't think I haven't actually announced it yet. I don't.
Well, you need to. Well, I just screwed it up.
No, you didn't.
Rewind.
I'm not trying to keep it a secret, but I'm also not necessarily making an announcement. I've been chewing on this. So, and I've had a bunch of conversations. Seth, you and I had a conversation about this. Like, do I want to do the classic? Not classic. Yeah, it is classic. Everyone does the I quit type of thing. I'm like, I don't want to do that. It's kind of overdone. But I've really thought about maybe doing the angle of really what decision did I make? So a lot of my creation, my content is around, very tactical. I don't share a whole lot about my life. And I think a lot of people are probably not are interested in the journey of maybe thought about, hey, I want to be a fishing content creator, or is that even a possibility for me in the future? And a lot of people start putting GoPros, and maybe there's this slight glimmer of hope that maybe in 5 years, a few of my videos take off, and maybe there's a plan down the road that I can do full time. And so I think that's in a lot of individuals' minds. At least it was mine. Mm-hmm. Seth, you and I have had this conversation. I know that's a dream of yours as well. And so I thought about maybe sharing like kind of the nitty gritty, really what it meant by going full time. Not the, hey, I want to thank my sponsor over here, and because I'm not making the money I used to. I'm actually losing money every month. And
you're happy.
Yeah, I'm a lot less stressed, and kind of sharing just the realist of it all, right? And it's my hope that I don't burn through my entire life savings trying to make this dream become a reality. But take people along for that ride, the more of the realist ride versus the, hey, I got this all figured out and I'm making enough money to support my family. I'm not right now. I'm actually burning cash like a fiend. And so maybe that's the video I create, and then kind of give people updates along the way. I think it's more real, maybe a little bit more relatable. And
Darren, I'll say this too, man. Like, honestly, 1 year ago today on May 13th, when Kayak Angler was bought out by Rapid Media, was bought out by the Tulos Group, which is now Delta Digital.
Yeah.
I had my own construction company. I was doing work for Rapid Media for 2 years previous to that, but just working on only commissions and going to ICAST and making relationships and stuff. But last year, when the opportunity came for me to go full time, I quit that. And for the last year, I've burned through a lot of my construction company money, but I'm doing what I love, and it's going to come full circle. Like, I'm meeting guys like you. We're chatting. I've burned through most of my nest egg for sure, but I'm way happier waking up every morning, and that's what everyone should be doing.
Yeah,
you live once, man.
You only live once, 100%. And literally, the place I was working, there were like a couple people there, 2. In the time that 18 months that I worked there, I had a heart attack. I was like, I can't. That's not that can't be my future. No, I refuse. I refuse, folks. Well, Keith, I know you got to hop on another one here in a minute, so I'm going to let you go. But I appreciate all you've done for the show. Thank you for connecting us to Hoodoo. Real thankful for Kayak, real thankful for Rapid, and just how the community has come together. Thank you for putting together the YakOff Championship. I might go over there and sign up. But before we go, thank you to you, but also thanks for the show partner. You see the top right-hand corner if you are seeing this. Dark Horse Tackle, where serious anglers discover small batch American businesses that flat out catch fish. These lures are pretty awesome. So I'll be doing some unpackings of these boxes on my show here in the future, but check them out at darkhorsetackle.com. Have a good time.
And to throw this out there, to your audience, now knowing that you're going full-time doing this, don't you guys think you would like to see him come fish up in the Pacific Northwest and bring Seth? I got room for 2 more. For 2 more.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
I'll call you guys after my next podcast.
Yeah, 100%. Look, no one's saying anything right now, so we're good. And there's someone who said 100%. Well, 100%.
You need to take Chad to more boat ramps. That's how you make more money.
Oh, that's right. I need more people to hurt themselves while I have my video.
More slips.
Yeah. See, 10K Sweaty Fishing, which is my favorite title for the channel, said it would be beneficial to the channel. He didn't say it would be beneficial to him. Let's see Seth and Wendell go up north. Drop time. Imagine the content. I know I'm going to be pissed when everyone comes down. I know who's going on this thing. I'm going to be upset when they're posting all these sick videos.
That's right. We're going to talk. We're going to talk soon. I have an idea.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I'll see you next Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. You guys have a good one.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for having us on, man.
Heck yeah.